Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining me on today. I have something to make for us this morning, and that is diet buns. That is, if you know what I'm talking about, diet buns. We have different kinds of them. So, in today's recipe, I'm going to use my flour. This is my all purpose flour. Then I already have my chopped onions. This is what I'm going to use, and my fresh pepper. I've already pounded or grinded it, anyhow you like it, but I pounded this one. Then I'm going to add salt inside it, then sugar. So I want you to see how I make diet buns. So let's go. So first of all, I'm going to have my cup, and I'm going to use my yeast. This is the yeast I'm going to use. We have different kinds of wheat. You can use instant wheat. When you use instant yeast, it's going to rise immediately, but this is the one I'm going to use, and I'm going to scoop it. This is 1 spoon of it. Add it in the cup, and another one, and I'm going to add it. We are going to add it warm water, lukewarm water, and not very hot water. Make sure your water is not too hot or too cold. Then another thing I'm going to add inside the yeast is my sugar, because this sugar is going to help it to rise very well. Then I have my warm water. I'm going to add it inside the yeast. So I'm adding it inside the yeast. Be very careful. This is my warm water inside my yeast. Then you stir it very well. The next thing we're going to do after stirring is to cover it very well, because you have to allow it to rise. So we need to cover it with anything you can think of. This is my saucer. I'm using it to cover it. Then we're going to allow it to rise. When it rises, then we'll add it to our flour. So we'll take it out. For your yeast to rise, you need to allow it to, because it's not instant yeast, we're going to leave it to 45 minutes or up to 1 hour. Then you go and check it. By the time it rises, then you come back to making your diet. Now we're bringing back our flour. So the next thing I'm going to add in this flour, we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So I'm going to add my sugar. This is our sugar. Adding it inside the flour, because this is 2 cups of flour. So we're adding it our sugar. It all depends on how you want your own to taste. If you want it very sweet, you add it another half of sugar, and that should be okay. So the next thing we're going to use, you use your spatula or you use your ladle. In this case, I'm using my ladle to stir it, to mix the sugar and the flour very well. So the next thing we're going to do is to allow it while we wait for our yeast to rise. Then we'll come back again and start mixing everything together. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back again, and look at our yeast. This is what we have, is risen. That's what we have here as the yeast, looking very beautiful. So we have to pour it into our bowl of flour. First of all, we have to put our pepper. That's our pepper, because it's diet we're making. I love my own diet pepperish, so let's have our pepper inside it. Then we have our chopped onions inside it to give it the flavor. Put in the chopped onions. We mix everything together. And salt. We have to put half teaspoon of salt. We're putting half teaspoon of salt inside it to give it another taste. Now we mix very well. Make sure everything is mixed together. Then the next thing we're going to do is to add our yeast. The yeast is already risen. We need to add it inside it and add Remember, lukewarm water, not too hot, not too cold. You rinse your cup so that you can add the remaining one. You add it inside it, then you mix very well. You can use spatula or you can use ladle. I'm using ladle. Then add another water inside it and continue to mix. Continue to add water. Okay, this is what we have here. Remember, like I told you when we are making diet buns, this is what it looks like. This is how it's supposed to be. You can see it. It's not watery. It's not hard. It's in between, but more of soft. Can you see? Because it's diet, that's how it's supposed to look. So we'll continue to mix it. For the last time, the ingredients I have here is salt, fresh pepper, onions, and sugar. So the next thing we're going to do now is to cover it. You can use your napkins to cover it or bowl, anything to cover it and allow it to rise because it's going to rise again before we can do the frying. So until we're right back. So this is the picture I have here. I've covered it very well and we're gonna leave it to rise, then we'll be right back. So right now we're going to add our oil because we are ready to fry. Making diet buns or just any other buns requires enough oil to help us fry it very well. We need enough oil to help us fry it very well, and we're going to boil our oil to make it hot, but not too hot so that you don't allow your diet buns to burn, but at least hot enough to fry. So you need to reduce your light because it's not supposed to be warm or it's not supposed to be too hot. So right now we're going to check it and see how it has risen right now. You can see, wow. Oh my goodness, this is so nice. You can see how it looks. It looks so beautifully well. If you notice, there's air in it, so we're going to mix it up very well to remove the air from it so that when we're frying, everything will fry very well. So as the oil is cooking, we're going to put our onion to add more flavor to our diet buns when we start to fry. These onions here is going to help it to ooze its flavor inside the oil. Make sure you don't throw this onions away. You can keep it and use it when you are cooking your next meal. Okay, I think that's enough now. We're taking it out so that we can continue with our buns. We have to start now. Alright, we're going to start frying. We're using our hand to bring it. Wow, it's coming out so good. And we're gonna take this first batch out. So this is the final result of our diet. You can see what it looks like. So beautiful.